Welcome to AI in 10. I'm Chuck Getchell, and every day I break down the biggest AI story in just 10 minutes. What it is, why it matters, and how you can actually use it. So picture this. You're scrolling through your phone this morning and you see a headline about robots getting a $26 billion upgrade. Your first thought is probably, great, now the robots are getting better funding than our schools. But here's the thing. This isn't some distant sci-fi fantasy anymore. This is happening right now, and it's going to change how you work, shop, and live in ways you might not expect. Boston Dynamics just announced they're teaming up with Google DeepMind. If you don't know those names, think of it this way. Boston Dynamics makes those incredible robots you've seen doing backflips on YouTube. Google DeepMind makes the AI brain that can beat world champions at chess and write poetry. Now they're putting those two things together. The robot we're talking about is called Atlas. It's a humanoid robot, which is fancy talk for it looks like a person and moves like one too. But here's where it gets interesting. Atlas isn't just copying human movement anymore. It's actually thinking and problem solving in real time. Let me paint you a picture of what this robot can do. Atlas can lift 55 pounds while walking around. It can see obstacles and figure out how to get around them. If it slips or gets knocked over, it gets back up and keeps going. But the real magic is in the brain they've given it. Google DeepMind created something called Gemini Robotics. Think of it as ChatGPT, but for physical tasks instead of conversations. This AI can look at a messy warehouse, figure out what needs to be moved where, and then actually do it. It can work alongside humans without bumping into them or causing accidents. Here's what really caught my attention in this announcement. They're planning to build 30,000 of these robots per year. That's not a small pilot program. That's mass production. We're talking about a $26 billion factory that starts churning out robots by late 2026. Now, I know what you're thinking. This sounds expensive and far away from my daily life, but here's where you'd be wrong. Each Atlas robot costs about $150,000 to $200,000. That sounds like a lot. Until you realize that's about what companies pay for 2 full-time workers in a year when you include benefits and everything else. The math suddenly gets very real very fast. Let's talk about what this actually means for you and your family, because this isn't just about cool technology. This is about your job, your paycheck, and your daily routine. If you work in manufacturing, logistics, or construction, pay attention. These robots are coming to your industry first. But here's the thing, everyone gets wrong about AI and robotics. It's not necessarily coming to replace you completely. It's more likely coming to change what you do. Think about it this way. When calculators were invented, we didn't eliminate all the accountants. We eliminated the tedious math part and let accountants focus on strategy and analysis. The smart accountants learned to use calculators and became more valuable. The ones who refused to adapt, well, they had a harder time. Same principle applies here. If you're currently doing heavy lifting, repetitive assembly, or dangerous tasks, Atlas might take over those parts of your job. But someone still needs to supervise these robots, maintain them, and make decisions they can't handle. The data we're seeing suggests that people who move into robot supervision roles often see their pay increase by about 20%. That's because you're no longer just providing physical labor, you're providing judgment, problem solving, and human intuition that robots still can't match. Let's get specific about your daily life. You know how Amazon deliveries sometimes take forever because their warehouses are backed up? Robots like Atlas could cut that fulfillment time by 30%. That means faster deliveries and potentially lower prices, maybe 5 to 10% lower on everyday goods. If you have aging parents, this technology could be a game changer for elder care. Imagine a robot that can help your mom get up from her chair safely, or assist your dad with mobility around the house. That could mean less strain on your family and more independence for your parents. But let's be honest about the challenges too. These robots have cameras and sensors that are always watching and learning. All that data goes back to Google's cloud systems. If you're already concerned about privacy with your smartphone, well, now imagine that surveillance walking around your workplace or potentially your home. The economic effects are going to ripple out in ways we're still figuring out. McKinsey estimates that widespread robotics could boost GDP by 1 to 2% annually. That sounds abstract, but it translates to real benefits. More jobs in some areas, lower costs for goods, and hopefully higher wages for the skills that become more valuable. The tricky part is that not everyone will benefit equally. Rural communities communities might actually see new opportunities if companies build robot-operated factories in lower-cost areas. But urban areas that depend on traditional manufacturing jobs might face more disruption. Here's what I find fascinating. We're essentially watching the economy reorganize itself in real time. The jobs that will thrive are the ones that require human judgment, creativity, and emotional intelligence. The jobs that will struggle are the ones that follow predictable patterns and don't require human interaction. Which brings me to the most important question. What should you actually do about this? Here's where I want to get practical with you. You can't buy an Atlas robot for your home, not yet anyway, but you can absolutely start preparing for this new reality, and some of the steps you can take today are easier than you might think. First, go see these robots in action. Boston Dynamics has demo centers where you can watch their robots work. There's one in Waltham, Massachusetts, and they're planning more locations. If you can't visit in person, they do live streams on their website. I know it sounds simple, but seeing is believing, and believing helps you plan better. Second, start learning the basics of how these systems work. You don't need to become a robot engineer, but understanding the fundamentals will make you more valuable in a robot-integrated workplace. Google and Coursera offer free courses called Robotics Foundations. We're talking about 10 to 20 hours of learning that could position you for supervisor jobs that start at $60,000 or more. The simulation tools they teach you, like Unity, that's the same software they use to train these robots. So you'd literally be learning the same systems that Atlas uses to figure out how to move around a warehouse. That's pretty powerful knowledge to have on your resume. Third, consider the investment angle. You can buy shares in the companies making this happen. Hyundai owns Boston Dynamics. Alphabet owns Google DeepMind. You can open a simple brokerage account on Robinhood or any similar app and own a piece of this revolution for the cost of a nice dinner. I'm not giving financial advice here. But I am saying that if you believe this technology is going to reshape the economy, you might want to benefit from that change rather than just worry about it. Fourth, get involved in the policy conversation. This transformation is happening whether we plan for it or not, but how it happens depends on the choices we make as a society. Some unions are pushing for robot taxes that would fund retraining programs. Some politicians are proposing grants for workers to learn new skills. The Department of Labor already offers up to $5,000 in certification programs for mechatronics, which is basically robot maintenance and operation. These programs exist right now. Most people just don't know about them. Here's my favorite action step though. Start following the right newsletters and information sources. The batch from Deep Learning AI gives you updates on exactly these kinds of developments. When Atlas robots start their first commercial deployments later this year, you'll know about it early instead of reading about it in the general news months later. Early information leads to early action, and early action leads to better outcomes. But here's the most important thing you can do. Change how you think about your own skills and career. The people who thrive in an AI-powered world aren't necessarily the most technical people. They're the people who combine human judgment with AI capabilities. If you're a manager, start thinking about how robots might handle the routine tasks your team does, freeing them up for more strategic work. If you're in customer service, focus on the complex problem solving that requires empathy and creativity. If you're in sales, double down on relationship building and trust, because nobody's buying a car or a house from a robot anytime soon. The key is to position yourself as the human in the loop, not the human being replaced by the loop. That's a choice you can make starting today, regardless of what industry you're in or what your current job looks like. Look, I've been in the AI world for years and I've seen a lot of bold predictions that didn't pan out. But this Atlas partnership feels different. The money is real. $26 billion is not experiment money. The timeline is specific. 30,000 robots per year starting late 2026. And the companies involved have track records of actually delivering on their promises. What we're witnessing is AI finally getting a physical form that can work in our world instead of just existing on our screen. That's the bridge between the digital AI revolution we've been living through and the physical transformation that's coming next. The smart move isn't to fear this change or ignore it. It's to lean into it and make sure you're riding the wave instead of getting swept up by it. Because ready or not, the age of working alongside humanoid robots is about to begin. That's today's AI in 10. If you want to go deeper and learn AI with a community of people just like you, join us at aihammock.com. I'll see you tomorrow, my friends.